Hello Manchester United fans, here we go. Fabrizio Romano reveals all the details behind Marcus Rashford's transfer to Aston Villa. Manchester United want away Marcus Rashford is all set to join Aston Villa, thus ending his ordeal at Old Trafford. The striker has been omitted from Ruben Amorim's plans since mid-December, so he hasn't featured for a single minute across the club's last 12 fixtures in all competitions. But while the writing has been on the wall for quite some time, the 27-year-old's next destination was shrouded in mystery, despite links with several clubs across Europe, including AC Milan, Borussia Dortmund and Juventus, as well as his dream destination, Barcelona. But while none of these moves materialized, Aston Villa jumped on the opportunity and pulled off an agreement with the Red Devils as well as the player's entourage in almost record time. The Villains have recently sold their striker Jhon Duran to Al Nassr, collecting a hefty transfer fee in the process. So they resorted to Rashford as a direct replacement to maintain solid squad depth, especially with the Champions League knockout stages on the horizon. Fabrizio Romano gives "Here we go" for Marcus Rashford to Aston Villa on Sunday morning. Famous Italian journalist Fabrizio Romano stamped the deal with his trademark, "Here we go" line, suggesting that the agreement has been sealed, and the player's transfer is now imminent. He also adds that his medical has already been booked. The source reveals that the Villains will cover more than 70% of the striker's wages, meaning that Man United will still have to contribute with a minority part of the player's £325,000 per week salary. Moreover, Romano confirms that Rashford is joining Villa initially on loan, but the Birmingham-based club will have the option to buy him at the end of the season for £40 million. So after rising through the club's ranks and representing every age group before reaching the first team in 2016, Rashford is finally set to leave the nest. Manchester United and Aston Villa agree terms for Marcus Rashford loan transfer. Marcus Rashford is on the brink of leaving Man United for Aston Villa ahead of Monday's transfer deadline. Manchester United and Aston Villa have agreed terms in principle for the loan transfer of Marcus Rashford until the end of the season. Sources say Villa have agreed to pay a loan fee and will cover the majority of Rashford's £325,000 weekly salary. Villa also have an option to buy the forward in the summer. Rashford, 27, emerged as a late target for Villa after they sold Jhon Duran to Al Nassr for £64 million. Rashford's representatives had previously held discussions with Tottenham, West Ham and Barcelona. Barca were hesitant about forcing through a loan move in the current transfer window. The men revealed on Saturday morning that Rashford was closing in on a temporary move to the 1996 League Cup winners. Villa will offer Rashford Champions League knockout football for the first time since he played for United against Atletico Madrid in 2022. Villa are currently 8th in the Premier League table and 8 points clear of 12th placed United. Rashford was also happy to accept Villa's offer as he will not have to relocate and can commute to the club's Bodymore Heath training ground. United have been waiting for a concrete offer for Rashford ever since he outlined his desire for a new challenge nearly 7 weeks ago. The England international aired his desire to leave the club 2 days after he was dropped from the squad for the Manchester Derby win at City on December 15th. Rashford has not played in United's past 12 matches, and he was omitted from all but one matchday squad during that sequence. Several United fans booed Rashford on his last appearance for the club away to Victoria Plzen on December 12th. Head coach Ruben Amorim did not acknowledge Rashford after he was substituted in the second half. Amorim said last week he would rather play his 63-year-old goalkeeping coach, Jorge Vidal, than Rashford or any other player that does not give his maximum in training. Amorim softened his stance in midweek but stressed Rashford had to change if he was to be reintegrated into the United squad. Villa's sudden need for a new forward has enabled the Premier League clubs to quickly conclude a deal. United signed rookie defender Aiden Heaven from Arsenal on Saturday, and left-back Patrick Dorgu is undergoing a medical ahead of his move from Lecce. Marcus Rashford Aston Villa transfer latest, Man United bombshell, deal structure. Goodbye message. Marcus Rashford's exit from Manchester United is imminent, as he looks to continue his career in England despite being strongly linked with a move abroad. Marcus Rashford has agreed personal terms with Aston Villa as he nears an exit from Manchester United. In a dramatic turn of events, Rashford now looks set to remain in England and join Unai Emery's side on loan for the remainder of the season. Rashford has been frozen. Manchester United could now make late move to sign £25 million player Lisandro Martinez elbowed twice. Manchester United are set to be active, in terms of incomings and outgoings, as we approach the transfer deadline on Monday night. Marcus Rashford is close to joining Aston Villa on loan after being banished from the squad by Ruben Amorim, with the Portuguese tactician publicly questioning the England international's application in training. TBR Football understand Manchester United are also looking to offload Casemiro before the transfer window shuts, after managing to loan Antony to Real Betis and shed 84% of his salary. Now, according to The Athletic, Manchester United are considering a late move to sign Leon Bailey from Aston Villa. Manchester United could sign Aston Villa number 31 Leon Bailey. Laurie Whitwell now writes that the Red Devils are monitoring the Jamaica international ahead of the February 3rd transfer deadline, with Bayern Munich number 39 Mathys Tel still an option too. The Athletic mentioned that any deal for Bailey would be separate to the one involving Rashford. Manchester United have held internal talks about pushing to sign the Aston Villa number 31 should he be made available for a loan deal by Unai Emery, who looks set to welcome Marco Asensio to Villa Park as well as Rashford. The Villains have also signed Daniel Malin this winter, so Bailey could be made available. Chelsea number 18 Christopher Nkunku is another option Manchester United are considering, as Amorim aims to replace Rashford and Antony. Bailey has scored 21 goals and provided 23 assists in 135 appearances for Aston Villa following his £25 million move from Bayer Leverkusen back in August 2021. Leon Bailey publicly criticized Lisandro Martinez for elbowing him twice. If Manchester United do sign the 27-year-old, things could initially be quite awkward at Carrington. Bailey criticized Lisandro Martinez after the Argentina international elbowed the Jamaican back in November 2022. During a game Aston Villa won 3-1. It was Emery's first match in charge of the Villains after replacing Steven Gerrard. Bailey wrote on X, previously known as Twitter, very disappointed in the referees today. I couldn't breathe for a second after getting elbowed twice in my rib. The linesman went on to say I shouldn't be saying anything because I was doing just the same thing to Martinez. Sometimes I don't understand why we got VAR. SMH, shake my head. Now, the pair could become teammates if Manchester United step up their interest. Manchester United are now pressing on with their bid to sign Mathys Tel as Marcus Rashford edges closer to becoming an Aston Villa player. TBR Football can confirm. Tel has become a target for a number of Premier League clubs this month and seems to have the pick of where he wants to go. However, Tel is said to have rejected Tottenham and would rather join Man United. And now, TBR Football can exclusively reveal that United are close to bowing to Bayern Munich's. I faced Marcus Rashford and Wilfried Zaha. One was better despite dressing room issues. Marcus Rashford has been compared to Wilfried Zaha as he appears to be calling time on his Manchester United career, with both having been accused of causing issues in the dressing room. Former Premier League champion Mark Albrighton believes Wilfried Zaha was a better player than Marcus Rashford, despite his admission that the former caused problems in the dressing room. Rashford and Zaha have, at different points, been considered two of English football's most exciting forward talents. Having impressed at Crystal Palace, Zaha was signed by Manchester United for £15 million in January 2013, while Rashford was still a teenager in the Red Devils Academy. The Ivorian winger failed to impress then-manager David Moyes and was eventually being back to Palace, where he thrived as one of the most direct and effective wingers in the league until his departure in 2023. Rashford, who broke into the United first team in February 2016, became the club's shining light for several seasons, operating in Zaha's favored left-forward position. But with the 27-year-old's relationship with his boyhood club now broken, Rashford's time at United is also expected to end in abrupt fashion. The similarities between Rashford and Zaha, both in terms of their positions and United careers, led retired goalkeeper Ben Foster to ask former Leicester City winger Albrighton, who he ranks as the better player in their prime on the Fozcast. Albrighton, who came up against both on a number of occasions, said, I would say Zaha. He's a better player. I think what he did at Palace was incredible. He carried that team for so many years. Got his move to United. It didn't work out. He came back and carried them for a few more years. He then added, "However, playing against him and seeing him up close, like his attitude sometimes, I thought that isn't good in a dressing room. You'd even speak to some of the Palace players and they'd be losing their heads with him. I just thought that isn't what you want in your dressing room." So who would you want in your dressing room? I know things with Rashford aren't great at the minute either, but as a player, Zaha is better. For several years, Zaha was linked with a big move across London to Arsenal. Unfortunately, that move never materialized while he was still in his prime, with Palace turning down a £40 million bid for him in June 2019, when Unai Emery still managed the Gunners. The 32-year-old signed a 3-year deal with Turkish giants Galatasaray in the summer of 2023 after his Selhurst Park contract expired. Despite going on to win the Super League in his debut season and scoring 10 goals, reports emerged that he was unsettled in Istanbul and he joined Lyon on loan in August 2024. Zaha endured a torrid time in League One as he was regularly left out of the matchday squad, leading to his loan being terminated earlier this month. He signed a 1-year loan,